What are you watching?
What are you watching? Elodie, le film!
The Chaweng Garden Beach Resort, Samui Island. A name that echoes in my mind like a haunting melody, a reminder of the disappointments and frustrations that lay within those crumbling walls. As I stepped into this supposedly idyllic paradise, I was immediately struck by the cacophony of sounds that assaulted my senses. The cacophony of drills and hammers from the never-ending construction, the loud music from the Irish pub across the street, and the incessant chatter of rowdy patrons who seemed to care little for the serenity of the island. It was as if I had stumbled into a chaotic nightmare, where the very essence of tranquility was an oxymoron. But it was not just the noise that was the problem, dear friends. Oh no, it was the very fabric of the resort itself. The rooms, which were touted as deluxe, were nothing short of a travesty. I was placed directly next to the construction site, a pounding, pulsing behemoth that shook the very foundations of my room. And don't even get me started on the deluxe bathroom, where the shower flow was as weak as a whispered secret, and the water temperature was as unpredictable as a summer storm. And then, of course, there was the service. Oh, the service. A gentleman by the name of William Smith, no relation, I assure you, was kind enough to share his tale of woe, where he and his brothers were peacefully playing with an inflatable ball, only to be chastised by a male worker who had no qualms about being utterly dismissive. Play in the sea, he was told, without so much as a flicker of empathy. But what about the sea salt, Mr. Worker? What about the poor deer's rash? Did you care? Did you even bother to ask? And the food, oh the food. A culinary abomination that would make even the most iron-stomached individual quiver with dismay. My Greek salad, touted as a delight, was nothing short of a sad, wilted affair, with 5 measly pieces of tomato, 5 pieces of cucumber, and 5 pieces of pepper. 5. Can you believe it? As if the chef had taken great pains to ensure that each ingredient was doled out with all the parsimony of a Scrooge. But wait, there's more. The beach bar, touted as a haven of relaxation, was a nightmare of epic proportions. Antonio Mele, a brave soul who dared to venture forth, was subjected to the worst shakes of his stay, concoctions of dubious origin that were passed off as fruit shakes. And the prices? Exorbitant, to say the least. As if the proprietors were attempting to fleece their patrons of every last baht. And don't even get me started on the horrific tale of, who endured a stay that was nothing short of a waking nightmare. Insects and cockroaches in the room, a toilet that overflowed with all the fury of a tempest, and an air conditioner that was as useful as a chocolate teapot. All of this, and more, was documented with all the zeal of a crusading journalist, only to be met with a deafening silence from the management. As I wander through the ruins of my vacation, I am left with only one question: how, dear friends, how can an establishment so callously disregard the needs and desires of its patrons? Is it simply a matter of poor management, or is it something more sinister? A disregard for human dignity, perhaps? A cavalier attitude towards the very concept of customer satisfaction? I ask you, dear friends, to join me in this crusade against the Chaweng Garden Beach Resort, Samui Island. Let us raise our voices in righteous indignation, and demand better from those who would seek to profit from our hard-earned dollars. Let us create a world where the customer is king, and the proprietors are held accountable for their actions. What are your thoughts, dear friends? Do you have a similar horror story to share? Let us commiserate, and perhaps, just perhaps, we can create a better world, one review at a time. Note: the script is written in a single, unbroken narrative, without explicit scene breaks. It is meant to be a continuous, flowing story that explores the various complaints and issues with the Chaweng Garden Beach Resort, Samui Island. Oh my goodness, you know, I've been looking into all these crimes near Chaweng Garden Beach Resort, Samui Island, and it's just so shocking. Like, you'd think it's a beautiful place, right? But no, there are all these scammers and thieves waiting to take advantage of tourists like you and me. Businesses near Chaweng Garden Beach Resort, Samui Island are like, so sketchy, you know? They'll promise you the world, but in reality, they're just out to get your money. Like, there was this one scam where a Thai woman had a storefront offering visa extension services. She took money from at least 8 foreigners, promising to help them with their visas, but then she just disappeared. Can you believe it? I mean, what kind of person does that? And the victims, oh my goodness, they must have been so stressed and worried, thinking they'd never get their visas sorted out. What probably happened next is that they had to spend even more money to fix the whole mess, and maybe even had to leave the country earlier than planned. And as for the scammer, I'm sure she just got away with all that money and is still out there, targeting more tourists. It's just so wrong, you know? And then there are these jet ski and scooter rental places near Chaweng Garden Beach Resort, Samui Island. They're like, super aggressive and will try to rip you off any way they can. They'll rent you a broken jet ski or scooter, and then when you bring it back, they'll claim you damaged it and try to charge you thousands of baht for repairs. Like, who does that? It's just so mean. I bet the tourists who got scammed were so frustrated and angry, and probably even felt guilty, thinking they'd done something wrong. But no, it's the rental shops that are at fault, you know? And the owners, they just get away with it, laughing all the way to the bank. It's just not fair. And have you heard about the tuk-tuk drivers and shop owners near Chaweng Garden Beach Resort, Samui Island? They're like, in cahoots with each other, trying to scam tourists out of their money. The drivers will take you to these shops, and then the shop owners will pressure you into buying overpriced, low-quality goods. It's like, so obvious, but tourists still fall for it. I mean, why would you trust a tuk-tuk driver, right? I'm sure the tourists who got scammed felt so silly and embarrassed afterwards, wondering how they could have been so naive. And the drivers and shop owners, they just get away with it, making money off unsuspecting tourists. It's just so wrong, you know? And then there was this one sales assistant at a shop near Chaweng Garden Beach Resort, Samui Island, who fabricated a whole story about being robbed at knife point. She claimed 3 men had stolen her cash and engagement ring, but it was all just a lie. Can you believe it? I mean, what kind of person makes up something like that? I bet the police were so confused and wasted so much time investigating the whole thing. And the sales assistant, she's probably facing legal action now, and her reputation is ruined. It's just so sad, you know? But also, like, what a terrible thing to do. Businesses near Chaweng Garden Beach Resort, Samui Island are like, so shady, you know? They'll do anything to make a quick buck, even if it means scamming or lying to tourists. And it's just so heartbreaking, because you'd think they'd want to help people and make them happy, not rip them off. The reality of businesses near Chaweng Garden Beach Resort, Koh Samui. Businesses near Chaweng Garden Beach Resort, Koh Samui, are a lesson in disappointment. They are overpriced, poorly managed, and often exploit tourists with little regard for quality or fairness. If you're expecting paradise, prepare for a rude awakening. Let's start with Central Samui, the shopping mall that should be convenient but feels like a trap. Taxi drivers here operate like a mafia, aggressive, hostile, and determined to squeeze every last baht from you. They block ride-sharing apps, intimidate drivers, and corner tourists into paying inflated fares. One family was harassed and forced to walk 100 meters while being followed, all because they dared to use Grab. Another traveler described feeling trapped and unsafe as drivers swarmed exits, demanding 400 baht for rides that should cost half. The mall itself? Loud, chaotic, and full of petty fines, like a 500 baht penalty for parking a motorbike slightly outside unmarked lines. Then there's Tamarind Springs, a spa that promises luxury but delivers mediocrity. Elderly guests have left with fevers after lying half-naked in cold, breezy treatment rooms for hours. Pregnant women were given massages with incorrect pressure, risking harm, while others battle mosquitoes and slippery stairs just to shower. The reservation process is a nightmare, emails ignored, deposits mishandled, and staff who act like they're doing you a favor by taking your money. For the price of a small fortune, you get hot rugs pressed onto your back and a gong that startles you awake. The Fisherman's Village night market is another tourist trap. Prices are triple what you'd pay in Bangkok, and the food? Dry skewers, raw octopus, and spring rolls that taste like they've been fried 3 times. Locals avoid it, only desperate tourists wander in, lured by the Instagram aesthetic. Police lurk nearby, waiting to slap fines on unsuspecting visitors for obscure parking violations. One guest called it Benidorm on the beach, crowded, overpriced, and devoid of authenticity. At Undercliff Grill and Bar, the only thing consistent is the incompetence. Orders are wrong, bills are inflated, and waiting times stretch into hours. One family paid $240 for stale chips, cold queso, and steaks so poorly cooked they became a comedic spectacle. The staff? Absent. The management? Unbothered. If you enjoy microwaving your $57 meal after waiting 90 minutes, this is the place for you. Akbar Beach Club is where relaxation goes to die. The music blares until sunrise, drunk guests scream on balconies, and terrified iguanas are paraded around for drunk tourists to manhandle. The staff shrug when you complain. After all, they've already charged you for the premium experience. One guest described it as Geordie Shore meets animal cruelty, and honestly, that's generous. The Wharf is a ghost town. Once a bustling mall, It's now a graveyard of shuttered shops. The only life comes from the night market, but even that feels like a desperate attempt to distract from the emptiness. Finally, Absolute Sanctuary sells itself as a luxury wellness retreat but delivers a scam. $350 gets you a foot soak in a brightly lit reception area, a rushed massage, and hours of wandering their neglected grounds. One guest said it best, "Try local spas. Even a beach massage is better." So what's the verdict? Businesses near Chaweng Garden Beach Resort thrive on exploiting tourists. They overcharge, underserve, and rely on the fact that you'll never come back. If you must stay here, bring patience, extra cash, and low expectations. Or better yet, venture further out, where authenticity still exists. Koh Samui is beautiful. But these businesses? They're the dark side of paradise.